Hi, Loren.
Hi,
How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Well, doing all right.
That's
What
good.
have you been doing this summer?
Bunch of work for my business, just trying to keep things running. And then also a lot of planning around like content strategy. So that's been keeping me very, very busy.
Uh-huh. Well, good. Well, I wanted
Yeah.
to ask you a series of questions. As I mentioned, I'm doing a study of people that decided to start a business while they're in college, which is quite a challenge.
Yes.
Uh, I wanted to go back a little bit in your early years. Um,
hmm
What entrepreneurial activities did you have in your childhood, like a lemonade stand or selling apples, uh, doing different things for income? Did you have any such thing?
Yeah. So actually, when I was about in like eighth grade, I had started this jewelry company, but it was like something just on the side I just had was thinking about, but I didn't really get it started because I was focusing on tennis. But
Uh-huh.
then once I got into high school, I started doing a lot in the fitness realm, and so I
Uh-huh.
started hosting let's see, what do you call it, like workout groups at my house. And so
Oh
like I
yeah.
had personal training and workout groups all through high school. And then when I got into like 11th grade, I got professionally certified to be a tennis coach. So I started doing private lessons too. So that's kind of like my entrepreneurial experience in my youth.
So you actually made money as a coach.
hmm Yep.
How about your jewelry? Did you sell any of that?
So I wasn't able to sell it just because I just gave it away at first. I would make the my own personal ones, but then
Uh-huh.
after that, into doing wholesale, which I didn't really know was wholesale. And then I was like, oh, I have to order this many to actually buy anything. So I just cut it off.
Yeah. Okay. You mentioned one other thing that you were doing, and I wondered if you made any money on that. Let's see. Your coaching, certainly you did. There was another thing that you mentioned
For
that you were
the,
doing.
are
What
you talking
was
about
it?
the workout?
Yeah, what other work did you do, and did you earn any money for anything?
Yeah, so I did my tennis training, the coaching, but then I also did the workout group. So I was doing like personal training, and then I do like group workouts at my house.
Would you make money? You
Yep.
did.
So I would
Okay.
like dollars per person to come and work out.
Uh-huh. Well, that's good. Um, let's see. Did uh, did your family did they ever have any entrepreneurial activities? Your family?
No, none of my family members really did anything entrepreneurial. They went the traditional route.
Uh-huh. Worked for somebody.
hmm
Yeah. Um, So you were an outlier. You kind of struck out on your own to have enterprise that you'd make your own money. That's pretty good. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
Now, let's see. Were there any things like junior achievement um, or DECA when you were going to high school? Do you remember? Anything like
Yeah,
that?
there were, yeah, there were things like that, but I was mainly focused on tennis since that was like
Yeah, that
my
would keep you really busy
whole
if you were
world.
really
So yeah,
pushing hard.
involved in
Yeah, yeah, that would really uh, keep you busy, and you really achieved with your tennis. That's fantastic.
Thank you.
Um, when you were doing your workouts and your tennis lessons, what do you think your peak earnings were?
Oh, so for my workouts, it let's see. I didn't really keep track. I probably did it maybe like once a week, maybe like once or twice a week, and I charge like maximum $30. But for my
Uh-huh.
tennis lessons, I would charge up to $80 to $90 an hour. Much all I did, I earned up to, I think it was like maybe like $3,500 just in that summer. So
Uh-huh.
yeah, and that's just like an hourly rate. And so yeah.
Oh, well, that's good. That's good. Um, now, when you went to college, now, did you start at UWM after you graduated from high school? Or
Yep.
You didn't go to a different college. You went to UWM.
No, yep. I went straight to UWM.
And that was tennis scholarship?
Mm-hmm.
Was that lucrative? The tennis scholarship, did that help?
To help me be able to do my business too.
Well, help you just generally,
Um, oh,
as far as the cost of school and all.
oh yeah, it definitely was. Like I don't know how I would have made it any other way. So it was
Uh-huh.
very, very.
Well, that's great. Now, I think you mentioned that you are not doing tennis now.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I'm not doing it anymore.
How when did you stop?
So I stopped, let's see, my sophomore year. So like the very end of sophomore year is when I stopped playing tennis.
Uh-huh. Okay, was it an injury or you just figured it was time to move on?
Well, we had some issues with the coach, and so he ended up trying to lie to take away my scholarship. So then I had to go in front of the board of with the board of athletics and like do an appeal and basically like be my own lawyer. And so
Oh
now
man.
I won. So yeah, it was a rough year, but I ended up winning my scholarship, and so now I just have my scholarship, but I'm not playing on the team.
Okay. Well, that's too bad you had to
Yeah,
go through that. That's unpleasant for sure.
yeah, but it definitely worked out for the best, so it's all good.
Okay, well, good. Do you have any family members, either close or distant, that are entrepreneurs?
Um, oh, actually, so my mom, she's actually just now starting to ramp up her own business. So at first she wasn't really into it. Well, she was, but my dad, he's what's the word? He's against entrepreneurship. He doesn't like risk or anything. So it
Ah,
kind of
okay.
from being able to explore new things, and he thought that if like she went and did entrepreneurship, she wouldn't focus on the family as much. And so now they're apart, and so
Okay.
she's focused on building her business. So that's
What
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 she's
is her
working on right now.
business?
But other
Oh,
than that, so she does like marriage consulting and yeah, stuff like that. So like marriage consulting, relationship consulting, and like spiritual too.
okay, so, and she can charge for this.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah. Okay, well, that's good. Well, good. Um, when did you first start doing entrepreneurial things when you were in college?
Um, I started what I was in my sophomore year. Oh yeah, so it was December of 2018. So I was in my sophomore year, and actually when I went home for like Christmas break, my dad mentioned like starting a business, and I was like, "Oh, that's cool." Like, and he was like, "Oh, I'll help fund you if you get it started." But he assumed that like the returns would be quick,
Yeah.
and so he got it. It didn't go quick, and so that my first was I was doing like facial care, and I was looking into that type of stuff. And then that's when I switched over to hair care and started doing like making my own custom made wigs for people. And then way after that, I switched over into organic hair care. So it was a nice little process.
Well, did you make any money initially or
So not with the face mask. That I ended up veering away from that and doing custom made wigs, and then I started making money from those.
okay. And this was when you were a sophomore or
Mm-hmm. Yep,
yeah,
I was a sophomore.
okay. Well, it's quite it's quite a jump to get into your own business and set prices and get people to pay you for stuff. That's it's always easy to engage people in neat ideas if they don't pay anything for it. But But if they have to pay for it, that's a different story.
Exactly.
Now, did you have any mentors when you started? Any mentors that helped you, gave you advice, or that you could go to and bounce ideas off of?
Hmm. So when I first got started, it was my dad because he's just how he was when I was playing tennis. He was like, yeah, just go for it. You got to go all out. So I was like, oh, okay. Like, so I took that same mentality I had for my sport into
Uh-huh.
business, kind of how I moving fast. But first it was my dad, and then who else in the early stages? I think for the most part, I just watched a lot of YouTube and listened to a lot of podcasts just to kind of get familiar with like business in general because I didn't know anything.
Uh-huh.
But I kind of also took the same skills I learned through like coaching tennis because I had to like pitch myself to these parents to coach their kids. So I took those same kind of skills and figured out how to like position my messaging to effectively sell whatever I was going to be selling in my business too. So
Okay. So it's kind of, it was almost self-help. And your dad was kind of a mentor to start with,
mhm.
but that didn't last for a long time.
No.
He was looking for a quick return, and it was pretty slow.
Yeah.
Have you had any mentors since?
Yeah, so I worked with Eric Hedrich. What year? That was also my sophomore year. So he was the one who first started me with my very first business plan. He helped
Oh gosh, that's
me get,
great.
yeah, and so we would meet like once a week, and he would kind of review what I had and like get me started. But who else? I'm really trying to think. It was Eric, um, and then I leaned on the Student Startup Challenge as well, and through there, like I found a couple of good people. So I met with like Colin and then Pavan, and then I just really focused on like who I surrounded myself with, like in my friend group. And then they kind of like every time we'd hang out, it wouldn't be just like friends hanging out, but we'd always like spark ideas and like kind of uplift each other. So I think they were kind of mentors in a way too.
Well, good. Now, you were part of the Startup Challenge. You were one
Yeah.
of the Startup Challenge people.
So I went for, so the first time I joined, I came in very late. And so I would just go, like, I didn't even get a chance to really figure out like the hypothesis. Like the whole first part I missed. And I
Sure.
reached out to Nicole later in the year and she was like, oh, you can go to the session. So I'd start like going to the pop-up sessions to see what that was all about. But I was never like officially in it. Even like this year, I wasn't really in it just because I know they like working with like the idea phase and I felt like they were moving a little too slow for me. So I was like, I'll
Yeah.
just
Okay. Were there any activities at school that really helped support you?
let me see. I think when I first got started, like all the pop-up shops at the Student Startup Challenge were really good, especially like the branding and let's see, what else was there? It was just like all the little things just to kind of get it in your mind because like I said, I didn't know really anything about it. So being able to know like, oh, these are things I should take into consideration, those were helpful. And then I did a lot of I went to a lot of like the leadership, what are those things called? They're like leadership dinners. I went
Uh-huh.
to work a bit and
Who sponsored those? Was
um they're very random. I know I got the emails from like the multicultural centers and stuff like that.
uh-huh.
Yeah, so they'd bring like keynote speakers. And then it was, yeah, I think it was a multicultural program. They had a lot of keynote speakers come in. So those helped. And what else were there?
Did you get any money from anything?
Outside of competitions?
Well, competitions too. What competitions?
Oh, yeah. So the Scheinfeld, I got money through that competition.
That was how much? 5,000, or how much did you get from
Yep, that was
Scheinfeld?
five. And then
5,000. Uh-huh.
the Wisconsin Big Ideas tournament, I got 1,500, and
Uh-huh.
then the state tournament for that one, I think it was 1,200, and for the, what was that?
New Venture Business Plan
Yeah.
Competition, Scheinfeld.
Oh, so yeah, the Shine was 5,000, and then the other one,
How much
maybe
did you
it's
get from the Scheinfeld one?
that was 10,000, but I can't remember the first one. The first one was 5,000, then the one that you helped me with, that was 10,000.
Well, great. Well, you got some, yeah, you had some real success in some of those competitions. That's fantastic.
So that one good. Oh, and yeah, those were the four from school.
Uh-huh. Well, it sounds like the pop-up sessions helped. Your mentoring with Eric was a help. Going through the preparation for the various competitions would help. It would all kind of be additive to the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
Where do you stand now with your business?
So right now I'm working on slowly scaling internationally. So I actually made 2 wholesale orders. And so after seeing that,
Where were those?
yeah. So after saying I can make 2, I was like, oh, well, I should just do wholesale from now on.
Oh yeah, gosh, that's more volume, right?
Yeah. And so I was like, okay.
Tell me about those. What were those two? Tell me about them.
So one of the people I sold to was from Algeria. And
Uh-huh.
basically, we were just friends on social media. So a lot of these people that I connect with, like they just find me on social media, and then I like to post about like my journey and like what I'm doing. So they're like, oh, she's always working. She always like working on a business and stuff. So then he contacted me. It was like, oh, people here are asking for like these types of products. Would you be able to like send them over? And so we worked out a deal to do like a sample package, just so I could like figure out how the shipping process went to get them over there. And so I gave him about like 20 products at first, so he could just try them out, see if he can sell them over there. And then the other guy was from Chile, and same thing with him. Like he found me on social media a while ago, and then he reached out last year. Actually, was like, when are we gonna bring Loren to Chile? And I was like, oh, that, I was like, I'll get back to you soon.
Oh my gosh.
I was
Well,
like,
now
oh,
did you charge for these, or are they free samples, or did you get?
no. So they bought these. Yep,
I'm
they
sorry.
they purchased these at the
Uh-huh.
wholesale.
Okay, good.
So, yep, he purchased. I think yeah, the last guy from Chile purchased 45 products, so that was good too. So
Uh-huh. Oh, well, that's great.
yeah,
What do you think then? Are they going to sell them and then reorder? What do you think?
yeah. So the guy in Algeria, he wants to sell, but my goal is I really want to like set up camp over in different countries and like see if I can get manufacturers over there, so I can in a way like partner up with them so they can kind of run business over there. So
Uh-huh.
I'm just seeing like they can sell the product, see if it's a need for them over there, and then I want to look more into actually setting up business over there, because that's what the guy in Chile wants to do now. But he went to like set up a Instagram page, Lavor Chile, and I was like, I don't know how I feel about that, because like now you're running that. And so I was like, okay, give me all the credentials and stuff. So now like I own it and I can like
Good.
see what's on. But
Good.
needed a way for it to be in their language. And so I was like, okay, so I see that there needs to be like another segment of the business in order to expand properly.
Okay. Dollar volume overseas, anything significant?
What do you mean? Like how much
Yeah,
they paid?
how much you sold?
Yep. So for the highest one was like $400, and that was the
Uh-huh.
guy.
Uh-huh.
Yep. And then
Well,
the other, oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say that's a start.
Yeah, it definitely is. I was like, that's a good amount to get all at one time. So I might try that again.
That sounds good. Um, who's working with you now? Do you have other people on your team?
So I have John, so he does like all the finances and stuff. And then I just hired on someone for social media. Um, she was actually at the last competition. I don't know if you remember her. She did like the I think it was glamping, like the campsite thing.
Oh yeah. Uh-huh. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Her name is Carmela, but she reached out to me after that competition and was just offered her services to me because I guess she could like work. And so then I just brought her on probably like 2 weeks ago to just manage all my media pages.
Oh, that's great. Well, that's great. Is she getting paid?
Yep, she's getting
Huh?
paid.
Well, good. Gosh, you're building an organization.
I'm trying all the books, trying to figure out how this works.
Oh, that's wonderful. Um, what has been your greatest satisfaction of your entrepreneurship efforts so far, would you say?
Like personally, or like a success
Yeah.
in general.
Well, just, it's all one. You're it.
Hmm.
So, but what makes you uh, satisfied with what you're doing if you are satisfied with what you're doing?
So I really enjoy being able to do what I want. Like I
Uh-huh.
enjoy make products and stuff like that. But the real thing, like I want to be able to set up uh, a good financial future for my family so they won't have to worry about anything. So like that's kind of like my main goal right now. But like for a long term, the reason why I enjoy doing all of this stuff, like not only do I get to like make up my own time and do whatever I want, but I also get to learn when I want, so I'm not forced to be learning what anybody else wants me to learn. Like I can read all the books I want, I can travel when I want. So yeah.
Independence. That's
Yes.
great. Yeah, that's wonderful. Gosh. Um, Now you're going to graduate next May.
Yep.
What's going to happen then?
So right now I kind of set up this strategy that I'm hoping will work, but I'm set financially until about, well, I made it until about December or January. So I have taken off work so I can just go full force into business and my YouTube presence. And so I'm hoping that if I go in every day until December, the end of December, that I'll be able to set up a strong foundation so that by the time the new year comes, I'll be able to have like income where I won't have to go back to work and sustain my business, but I can just work on my business full time. And so by the time college is done, I can still be working on my business.
Great. Boy, that sounds terrific.
Thank you.
Um, I wanted to ask. I'd like to get some good pictures of you and your products.
Oh, okay.
I know you've gotten some. I've seen them with your presentations, but
Yeah.
I want to obviously pictures of you, but also you have some nice pictures of your product, and I think your design of the packaging is really neat. It really looks good. If you could send me some of those high res pictures, that'd be great.
Okay. Yeah. Sounds good. So currently too, right now I have my older packaging, but it's still really nice.
Yeah.
I won't be switching to the new ones, like my new branded ones, until the I start producing through the manufacturer. So right now they're still like finishing up all the product. I don't even know what to call it. They're making the products, and so once they're all set with that, then we'll get the new
Okay, well,
packaging.
send me the old ones for
Oh,
now, and then maybe later on we'll get some of the new ones. But that'd be great because that gives an idea, and I think you've really done a nice job. You're probably improving on them, but they look awful good to me.
thank you.
Well, that's great. Gosh, I may think of other questions to ask, but you've really been helpful. I'm trying to figure out what the mindset is of somebody in college that would start a business.
Hmm.
That's different. Most people in college, they struggle to just get to class day to day, and they wouldn't even think about having their own business. You,
Hmm.
you've you've piled that on top. Of course, you've known how to work hard because you've achieved in tennis, and that doesn't come without a lot of hard work. So that's not foreign to you for sure. You're a hard worker, and that's
Thank
great.
you.
Um, One of the things that I've wondered about, I don't know whether you were a freshman when I came to the class and gave a little talk, but each freshman class, I come in and give about a 1 hour talk, which is interactive and asking people their ideas and have they ever even thought about entrepreneurship? Do they have anybody in their family? And I
Mhm.
found that uh, almost none of them have ever even thought about having a company when they're in college. It just
Mm.
never crossed their mind.
Yeah.
How come it crossed your mind?
I don't know. I mean, after I figured, well, the thing that really hit it home for me is when I went from charging for tennis. Like my first private lesson I gave was when I was 16 years old, but
Uh-huh.
it for $30 an hour. But I was like, wow, this is a lot of money. So when I went to a job, I worked at a country club coaching, and I got paid. I think it was maybe $8 or $9. I was like, I'm never doing this again in my life, and I was over it from that point on. And I was like, I can't do it because I know what I can make, so I'm not gonna settle for
Yeah,
getting.
why should you, right? Oh, that's great. Well, good. Gosh, this is very helpful. And if you would send me the pictures, that'd be great.
Yeah, of course.
And after I think about it and review my notes, I may want to give you another call if that would be all right.
Yeah, that'll be good. I'm glad I can help.
Well, you sure are, and I wish you the best. Gosh, you're doing a lot of good things right, I think. So
Thank
that's great.
you. That's good to hear.
Well, good. Well, have a good weekend, and we'll be talking with you obviously as the year goes along. I'm probably going to be in Georgia for the
Oh,
semester, and I'll be teaching online and have all my internet set up and everything ready to go. But I'm
yeah.
probably not even going to be around.
Oh
Uh,
man. At least you'll be
so
in. That'll be nice.
yeah, we it's a place on an island off the coast of Georgia where we
Oh
have a
wow.
cottage, and
Mhm.
we can go fishing, and it's warm. You got to dodge the snakes and the alligators, but other than
Oh,
that, it's pretty good.
well, that'll be outside of the alligators and snakes.
Yeah, right. Well, good. Well, thanks again, and we'll be talking with you soon.
Okay, sounds good. I'll talk to you later, Jim.
All righty. Take care.
Bye.
Bye bye.